From million-dollar bluffs to legendary comebacks, these are the wildest moments in poker history. First up, a move so smooth it left everyone at the table stunned. 1. 1988. Eric Seidel falls for Johnny Chan's Look to the Sky.
Controlled aggression is very, very important when you're in a short-handed game, if you can have such a thing. But the most aggressive player in a two-handed game is probably the favored player at this point.
Queen 8-10 is the flop.
Back in 1988, something big happened at the World Series of Poker. Two players sat at the final table. One was Johnny Chan, a smart and calm poker master. The other was Eric Seidel, a new player from New York.
Be aggressive again, you bet. He calls the 40, and he raises 50. So it's $50,000 to Chan to stay in this hand. The flop, Queen 8-10, once again.
Now, here's the wild part. The last hand of the game was pure magic. Johnny Chan had a strong hand. He had the best cards, called the nuts. But instead of jumping to win, he stayed quiet. He waited.
Trying to sucker him in. By taking his time. Oh, look at that look of the defending champ. And now 5th Street.
Then came the move. The trap was set. On the turn, Chan just looked up at the ceiling as if he were thinking hard. It was called the Look to the Sky. Seidel thought he had the better hand. He didn't know he was walking into a trap. He pushed all his chips in.
He's going all in, and Chan has him. Johnny Chan, the master. Turns over his card, and once again, Johnny Chan has done it. And for Eric Seidel, he can only look and wonder what might have been.
Everything changed fast. Chan snapped back to look at the table. He called the bet with no fear. He showed his winning cards. The crowd went crazy. Seidel just stared, shocked. This moment was not just a win. It changed poker forever.
He was playing a little fast and just keep trying to bluff his money off. So unfortunately, I just sit back and wait for a trap for him. And sure enough, he just bluffed all his money off to me.
Did you lay a trap for him?
Absolutely. That was my whole game plan anyway.
What about the feeling of winning this year as opposed to last year?
A lot better.
All right, congratulations, Johnny.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Johnny Chan retains his title.
And he's now in line to match Johnny Moss's record of 3 consecutive World Series wins. Let's talk to the runner-up.
Eric Seidel, he almost had Johnny knocked out, but he caught that 7 on 4th Street to make that straight. That turned it around for him.
Yeah, I was about an 11-10 favorite to win the tournament right there. And he hit the straight, you know, and then from there, I think just my inexperience showed up.
People all over the world saw it and believed they could play too. Chan's calm face, his smart plan, and that final look became a poker legend. The game would never be the same again. 2. 1989. Phil Hellmuth derails the Orient Express.
Remain Johnny Chan in a heads-up situation against Phil Hellmuth Jr.
In 1989, Johnny Chan was 1 win away from history. He had already won 2 years in a row. If he won again, it would be 3 straight titles. People called him the Orient Express. He was fast, focused, and strong.
Of this game, Phil Hellmuth, 24 years old, going against the 2-time defending champion Johnny Chan. Phil comes out aggressively with a $40,000 bet to open it up.
Then everything changed. At the final table, one young man stood in his way. His name was Phil Hellmuth. He was just 24 years old. People called him a math genius. The year before, Chan had beaten him. But this time, Hellmuth came back with a plan. The game was intense.
Commanding position. Hellmuth with kings and 9s. Waiting on 4th Street. The Queen of Spades. And now Johnny Chan is back in it. He needs any card higher than a 10.
Right now.
Each card mattered more. Chan tried his best, but he later said he wasn't feeling sharp that day. Hellmuth stayed cool. He used his math skills to read the game. He made big moves. Little by little, he took chips from the champ. Then came the final hand.
$1 to the winner. And there it is. Hellmuth wins the championship. So Phil gets the money. the gold bracelet. But perhaps best of all, he has the knowledge that he beat one of the all-time greats, Johnny Chan. With me now, the new World Series of Poker champion, Phil Hellmuth. And Phil, what was going through your mind in that last hand?
Well, I knew I was a 2-1 favorite. I was just praying. That he didn't. We're playing $1,200,000 pot there. But even if he wins it, I still have $500,000 in chips left. So I'm not going to be out of it. But it's a real good opportunity to knock someone out of the tournament right there.
Were you surprised when Johnny went all in to call you?
I was surprised when he rolled over ace.
The crowd held its breath. Hellmuth made his play. Chan called, hoping to win again. But when the cards were shown, Hellmuth had the better hand. He beat the great Johnny Chan. The crowd cheered loudly. Phil Hellmuth became the youngest winner ever. For 19 years, no one beat that record. Because of him, many young players believed they could win too. Poker had a new king. 3. 1997. Stu Ungar beats everyone except himself.
So he's going to raise 40,000. Costs 40,000 for John to call. John calls, 40,000 raise.
In 1997, a man named Stu Ungar came back to the World Series of Poker. Years before, he had won in 1980 and 1981. He was a poker genius, but then he disappeared.
Now at this point, Stewie's well aware that the last time John bet out, he had a pair of aces in the pocket. And that's one of the things that's going through Stewie's mind. A feeling exactly, does John have something? Does he have a marginal hand like he's bet with so many times?
His life went dark. Stu had a big problem with drugs. Because of that, he stopped playing for years. People thought he would never return. But in 1997, he shocked the world. He entered the main event again, and then he crushed it. He played like fire.
Ace 4, ace with no kicker.
He needs a deuce or a 4. Stewie needs a deuce or a 4.
Stu Ungar won hand after hand. No one could stop him. He made it all the way to the top. He won his third main event, something no one else had done by playing. After the win, he smiled wide.
Deuce! Stewie wins the tournament. Looking at a picture of a very happy 14-year-old girl. This is Stu Ungar's daughter, Stephanie. And I know that you played very hard today, and one of the reasons was for this little girl. I haven't seen her for about 7-8 years, but she's a very beautiful young lady.
Well, I appreciate it, Gabe. Thank you. I called up last night. She says to me, "Daddy, I'm going to disown you if I don't win the tournament." And I said, "Stephanie, I love you too much for you to disown me." I said, "I'm going to win the tournament, and it's where you'll go on loving me." And I guaranteed a victory, and I proved myself worthy of it.
The moment felt real. He held his $1 million prize and told everyone he was clean. He promised to stay strong for his daughter, Stephanie. Gabe Kaplan, a poker star and announcer, hoped Stu's words were true. But 1 year later, everything was gone. The dream turned cold. In 1998, Stu was found dead in a Vegas motel. He had less than $80. The rest went to drugs. His story is a warning. Even champions can fall. 4. 2003, Chris Moneymaker wins the Poker Boom main event.
Don't expect him to do anything huge, but he's looking at ace-queen, so he's going to make some sort of move. He bet $60,000 on the ace-queen.
In 2003, a man named Chris Moneymaker shocked the world. He was not a poker pro. He was just an accountant. But he entered a small online poker game for only $80. Then the magic started.
Who makes 3 queens and becomes a prohibitive favorite.
Jason Lester checks, so the action to Moneymaker, you have to figure he's going to push things right now. And he does with $70,000.
I thought he might have pushed it more. Generally, you make a bigger bet there and you push out the competition. We always like to say better to win a small pot than lose a large pot. He's almost inviting calls right there with the $70,000. A big favorite in the hand.
Well, Phil Ivey is indeed going to take that bait, and he'll call it.
Yeah, Phil Ivey will call, and I guess for the $70,000 he'll...
That game won him a seat at the World Series of Poker main event. It usually costs $10,000 to play. Chris had never played a live tournament before, but he stayed calm and played smart. He even beat Phil Ivey.
We see one more card.
It's an ace!
An ace!
An incredible knockout blow for probably the best player left in the tournament, who has gone down.
Oh, amazing. Phil Ivey loses with a full house to a better full house of Chris Moneymaker,
Who has now knocked out heavyweights Johnny Chan, Umberto Brenes, and Phil Ivey. My goodness.
That run out. That hand was wild. Phil Ivey was a poker legend, but Chris got lucky on the last card, called the River, and knocked him out. People gasped. Could this regular guy really win? He kept going strong. Then came the moment. Chris won the whole thing. He won $2.5 million. People everywhere watched and thought, if he can do it, I can too. Online poker exploded. From 839 players in 2003, the next year tripled. Year after year, more joined. By 2023, over 10,000 players entered. Chris Moneymaker's win changed poker forever. 5. 2014. Martin Jacobson wins the Solver Final.
Newhouse finished 9th. I'm betting against him finishing 9th next year.
Von Hof with 3 knockouts. So
not many people knew Martin Jacobson in 2014. He was from Sweden and used to be a chef, but he had a quiet dream of winning the World Series of Poker main event. He made the final table.
Felix Stevenson float on a couple of flops earlier at this final table. Let's see if he does it again here.
Get a good look at poker's version of the Roman Colosseum without the lions and the death and the blood and all that stuff. Stevenson, chips in hand. Those reds are worth $500,000 each, and there's a call.
When I call with king high on this kind of flop in my home game, my opponent always has aces. Nice to see Felix and I have one thing.
But things looked bad. Martin had one of the smallest chip stacks. Others thought he would lose fast. But Martin had a secret plan. He used the break before the final table to train his brain. He didn't waste time.
With those aces, this is where I stop firing because I honestly have no idea what my opponent has.
Von Hof in the background. His chip lead won't be nearly so big very soon.
15.
You heard the man.
Jacobson seems to think his aces are good because at age 27, he's forgotten more about poker than I'll ever know.
So back to Felix Stevenson.
He studied like crazy. Martin ran computer programs called solvers. These helped him learn the best moves in every situation. He practiced hundreds of times. He trained for everything. Others were not ready.
There is the call, but Stevenson is not going to like what he sees.
Those hands played themselves. Nothing Stevenson could do but get lucky now.
Martin Jacobson set up to claim this championship right now.
The final table came. While other players guessed and hoped, Martin followed his plan. Step by step, he stayed focused. He climbed higher and higher. Finally, he made it to the last hand. He won $10 million. But it meant more. Martin Jacobson showed the world that brains, practice, and new tools could win. Now, poker players everywhere use solvers just like he did. He changed how the game is played. 6/20/21. Corey Aldemir wins second Boom title.
That impressive. The other one was Crandall Addington, who I mentioned the other day. The guy always wears a coat and a tie. He was runner-up twice in 1974 and 78.
He had a lot of high finishes, I think, too. You see his name all over the...
In 2021, Las Vegas lit up again with the World Series of Poker. After a strange online version the year before, fans were finally back in the room. Chips stacked high, players leaned in. The moment felt huge.
I'm either rooting for blood or I'm rooting for bricks to come while someone's bluffing, and I want to be like, what are you going to do now? Like, when they get there, it's less fun. I might actually, if I'm Aldemir, I might start check raising like a lot of my value hands just because Holmes is check raising a lot of garbage, so he expects other people to do.
Then came the surprise that the main event didn't happen in summer. This time, it was in November. That hadn't happened in years. But no one cared. They just wanted poker. The room buzzed with noise.
He calls. He is the main event champion.
He does.
He does make the call. Just kings. 2 pair, and that is it.
Wow. Just like that.
Koray Aldemir. One man stood tall. Koray Aldemir, a calm and focused German player, made his move. He stayed cool as others fell. Every chip he won brought him closer. Soon, the final hand dropped. Koray had done it. He was the champion. But it wasn't just about Koray. His win meant something bigger. It meant poker had survived. It meant poker was strong. Everyone watching felt it. History turned a page. Thanks to this event, poker came back in full force for 2022. And in 2023, it even moved to the Las Vegas Strip. One man won, but the game won too. 7. 2012. Antonio Esfandiari wins $18 million in Big One for one drop.
3-1 chip lead, but with a double up, Trickett would take the chip lead himself.
Antonio was 7-5 off. And a raise to 1.7 million. Queen 6 of diamonds for Trickett.
Yeah, Antonio is going to raise any 2 cards on the button heads up.
And Trickett makes that call. One raise.
In 2012, something brand new happened at the World Series of Poker. A man named Guy Laliberte, who made Cirque du Soleil, helped create a huge event. It was called the Big One for one drop. Each player had to pay $1 million to play. A part of that money went to help give clean water to people in need.
Antonio sends a message to Sam with that 3-bet. I've got the jack or the 5. And Sam might be wishing right now he had just check-called this flop. He's getting in knee-deep at this point.
Antonio not wanting to scare off Sam. And Trickett seems very determined to stick around. And Sam says, how about 5 million more?
That's a 4-bet, and Trickett now has committed 40% of his stack to this pot.
Now, here came the heat. Many top poker players joined. Everyone wanted to win the giant prize, but one man stood out. His name was Antonio Esfandiari. He smiled, joked, and stayed sharp through every round.
All in.
All in.
Cool. And Trickett will call with the draw. If Sam can get lucky, this battle will be nearly even, but should he miss, Antonio will win the Big One for one drop.
No diamond. It's over.
Well,
Then came the final test. Antonio faced Sam Trickett. It was one-on-one. The table got quiet. The cards flew fast. Antonio made bold moves. The crowd leaned in.
Turn card. Tray of Hearts. Antonio just one card away from winning $18.3 million.
Trickett needs any diamond but the 3. Otherwise, Antonio Esfandiari is our champion.
Here, perhaps the richest ever river card in poker tournament history. It's a heart! Antonio has done it! Oh my God!
And then it happened. Antonio won. He beat Sam Trickett and took home over $18 million. It was the biggest prize ever in poker at that time. A moment for history. But this win was more than money. It helped people around the world get clean water. Antonio's victory was for everyone. 8. 2024. Daniel Negreanu ends bracelet drought with PPC win.
Such a foodie.
Neither did I, but I'll have to check out that account.
You think this guy in the slob drop t-shirt back there is a foodie? PLO with the Miller Lite? No.
Maybe a different type of food.
In 2024, Daniel Negreanu finally won his 7th World Series of Poker bracelet. For more than 10 years, he had many close calls but never quite won. This time, the prize was the $50,000 Poker Players Championship.
When Daniel moves in, he's then committed.
Yaki going high variance here with all of that equity. He'll be delighted that he's not up against clubs or a boat. All of his outs
I got trips
currently
against
live.
the flush draw.
And a straight draw.
And a straight draw. Ace, queen, jack. No, ace, queen, jack, 7. I got it. I blocked it. Yeah, ace, queen, jack.
The challenge was huge. 89 of the best poker players joined the fight. Everyone wanted to win. Daniel stayed calm and smart. He played carefully and made great moves.
Paint.
Yeah, king of clubs.
Queen on the turn. Seven's full for Daniel. Yaki draws dead.
At last, victory came, and Daniel outlasted all the others. He won the bracelet and ended his long, dry spell. It was a big moment for him and for poker fans everywhere. Thanks for watching these wild poker moments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more crazy poker stories. If you want to see the biggest poker wins, click here next.